Today, we are doing Marvel Rivals. Original comic book versus Rivals design. Rivals made Loki a himbo. That's where we're starting, apparently. Okay. So, you know what, let's start with Wolverine. I got a bunch of different characters. I don't have all of them. If people like it, we can go round two, we can be more thorough, but I got ones that I thought would be relevant, that would take us through dips and dives of trauma. Let's start off. Who does it better? OG comic book Wolverine or Marvel Rivals Wolverine? I think, personally, easily, it goes to the OG. It goes to the OG. I think, honestly, it's a bit hard to compare, and we're gonna kind of see this. Oh my goodness, Noodles is literally swiping at me. I'm reacting, kitty cat. Oh my goodness, the OG is weird. So, yeah, but I love it. Okay, so the right looks more like normal. It's like, okay, cool guy. But the left is like classic. And honestly, so he doesn't actually get the full like dark flares until later. Yeah, the flares here don't come in until the next version, which I think makes it look a little less dorky. But still, the concept, the old school version, I like it. Now, analyzing as an artist, okay? Taking a look at the designs as well, it's tough to say. Again, this isn't always fair because there's such a big time gap. But actually, I like the OG more because I think it conveys better that he's super aggressive. Now, obviously, there's the pose, right? But I think the sharp lines, particularly on the chest, and his grimacing weird eyes and stuff, you know, like the whole deal, it's like this guy is clearly intense, you know? The other guy, he's trying to be cool, you know what I mean? And while Wolverine is like kind of a cool, detached character, I feel like the other one captures his aggression more. Plus, it's just classic. Wolverine himself thought the first suit was okay, but he hated the whiskers. That's really funny, actually. We have a tie from chat on OG versus Rivals. Personally, I think I'm going to go with OG here. Timeless. Maybe yeah, with the new tweaks immediately after, it looked significantly better. But next up, Marvel Rivals store versus OG. So I actually like both here. This one's a bit tougher. I think OG Thor is pretty sick, actually. I'm not really sure what's going on with the giant mirror discs. I'm not gonna lie. So silly, though. Yeah. The new one's very much like that sort of Viking-y look. I really like... This one's a lot closer to me. Yeah. I think the gauntlets are cool, but... And you'll see this as a common issue that I personally have with Marvel Rivals, is that the characters feel often over-designed. Like there's too much stuff going on. Which is funny, because you see this a lot in VTuber space as well. They're like, let's add more details, This character actually isn't too bad for it, but you'll see in the future that there's just like a lot of nonsense going on that really maybe isn't necessary. I think Bucky's a great example that actually isn't in this list, because Bucky's character is basically the same. OG Bucky's cooler. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to go with old Thor, I think. Just because, nostalgia. New Thor is cool, though. This is very tough. But I think the simpler design, I like the colors. If we're going to go really artsy here, I like the contrasting colors and stuff. You think of that more. Imagine if this was Thor. I don't think I would remember him as much. I think the bright colors, actually, as silly as they may seem to like more modern eyes, I think stand out significantly more than what's going on here. Because this could be anybody. You could say like this is like old, like Norse warrior, besides the hammer, and you'd be like, yeah, I can see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, this one I'm actually cool with. There are some I'm not cool with. This was one of the better ones. I'm still gonna go with OG just because I think it's fancier. Your boomer showing? Yeah, maybe. I never read comics though, to be honest, so I don't really have nostalgic. I'm just kind of like, I like this better because I feel like it's different and it stands out more, and I think they're both cool. The new one is good though. I like him better than New Wolverine, actually. I didn't mention this in the previous, but I think the New Wolverine's kind of mid, to be honest. Can we just go back? Can we revisit this real quick? It's my video. I make the rules. Honestly, I don't like the new one, to be honest. I know some people aren't of the old comic book style, but I think it's like a jacket. What? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do here. It's not like, it doesn't look awful, but for Wolverine, it's just like, it's like a dude in a jacket. It doesn't feel like Wolverine to me at all. No, I agree. So anyway, yeah, for OG Thor, that's who I'm gonna pick. Because I like the color contrast more. But overall, I think they're both strong designs. Boom. Rivals Storm versus Old School Storm. I'm going full boomer down the list right now. I like them both. I think they both did a great job. I love the side cut on Storm. Very cool. I think I'm gonna have to go with OG again. I think this one's also close because they're both acceptable. Funnily enough, this Storm, out of all of the OG, she's probably the character that would probably hold up the most out of what we've seen. Like, less kind of goofy, you know? Such an iconic design, too. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with OG Storm here. If we're gonna get into the art technicalities of it, so some things that I'm not the biggest fan of. Over-designed like crazy. Why is this here? You know what I mean? What's going? Why does this strap not only have additional bits? What's going on here? You know what I mean? So I feel like I like stuff like this is fine. It's a lot, but I think it works, right? It helps. She's caked out of control. You can't really see that here, but in game, we all know, like, oh my god, you play Storm, it's just like there's a lot going on back there. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is fine. It's like there's just a lot of random unnecessary details I think here that could be executed a bit better. It's still overall though, I like it, but I think OG is just so iconic. Again, maybe this is nostalgia, but I just like it. It's simple, stands out, epic design, and this one doesn't scream like, oh, exciting to me. You know what I mean? OG is winning significantly. New Store needs some food. Oh, that's true. You know what? She looks more realistically proportioned relatively. You know, she's still got that, like, tight waist going on, but... Rival Storm looks like she's not over... Yeah. OG? Yeah, I agree. Easy OG, right? And again, if you want to get into it, I never really thought about this, but the color contrast in comics is so nice. The bright yellow with the black and stuff like that. They really stand out. The problem is when you have a lot of heroes, sometimes that can be overwhelming. So like colors everywhere, madness. But I like it. It's something I never really thought about because I've never really examined older comic book designs before. What a queen, though. And now we have... Oh, God. Oh God. Squirrel Girl. Marvel Rivals versus the OG. But wait. It gets worse, chat. It gets worse. I wanted to jump scare you. Are you ready? Okay, guys. Jump scare. In 3, 2, 1. OG Squirrel Girl. Who did it better, chat? Who did it better? Is this going to be in your nightmares? She stares into your soul, chat. Now, to be fair, if she was a villain, I don't actually know her OG situation, but that's a great villain. That's nightmare vibes. You know what I mean? I would never... I'm reading this as a kid. My life is over. Now, yes. Kind of like you said. Not the best version, because we aren't looking at the most prolific versions of the characters, right? Because, like, if that was the case, we would be looking at a more maybe contemporary Wolverine. But I thought the OG would be more interesting because the designs will be unexpected and strange. We can do that later, which is maybe more of you know, a relevant comparison of like the cool version, the popular version that everybody knows versus Rivals to see how they did. But I feel like this also takes into account their evolution, which I think is particularly interesting. Fun fact, Squirrel Girl is canonically stronger than Thanos. Actually, though, that's an insane fact. That Squirrel Girl is stronger than Thanos. That's wild. She makes Galactus second get. What is her superpower? She's got the strength of a squirrel scaled up, kind of like Spider-Man. You know, the first thing she did after this picture was traumatize Dr. Doom with squirrel. That's hilarious. I love that, actually. OG Scarlet Witch versus Marvel Rivals Scarlet Witch. What do we think, chat? This is interesting. I think I have to go... Well, you know, let's discuss first. So the old one, fine, very simple, very basic outfit. What I don't like is the headpiece situation. What is going on here? You know what I mean? I get that they were goofier, and I think this gets changed pretty quickly, but not a fan of her shoving her head through red construction paper. Yeah, that's the problem with it, and I don't know how these were made. I get the impression, perhaps, that it was used in the concepting phase, because I think these are polished now, but, like, for example, what's going on here? Double belt? Why? Now, is that the reason a lot of these designs are over-designed? Maybe. Maybe. So it's like, maybe in the concepting process, I don't see any errors. I don't think they straight up ripped it, but it's just a lot of weird stuff. But this is the thing, though. I noticed this even with Genshin and stuff, and like other games, like Zenless and stuff, where there is a lot of over-design on the characters. So I don't know, maybe that's just the trend with artists working in that space, but I don't know. Because it's just like, what is going on here? Belts on belts on belts. Tetsuya Nomura would be like, oh god, yes. I love it. This is fine, but weird. Particularly the feet, though, right? Like, what is going on here? You know? So it's tough, because I like the overall general look better, but I don't know. Honestly, it's a tough decision, because I'm not really the biggest fan of either. Rivals wins? Yeah. I think overall I like Rivals better because it kind of looks more like the Scarlet Witch I think of. And the classic one's just too goofy, right? Doesn't hold up upon looking back, but I'm curious what people think. Overall, not the biggest fan of either, unfortunately. Even though I like Scarlet Witch overall. And I think if I were to critique this design, it would be just like, dude, you don't need all these belts. You need to stop. Please stop. Get some help. Movie is better? Yeah, absolutely. Movie version is great. There's a couple of versions of her outfit that are really nice. I feel like I've seen better versions of her. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Marvel Rivals, I think. Even though, well, I don't know. Just by default, I guess. Just because the old one, I just can't get over the you know, the out there nature of it. Although, maybe I should just go with the old one. I don't know. Undecided. Is that a cop-out? I have no feelings. Now, here's an interesting one. New Punisher, Rivals Punisher versus OG Punisher. Let's see. So, I couldn't really get a good image. It's hard to find the OG, sort of. It's like a little weird. And again, like I said, they're not always straightforward. Sometimes they appear here, sometimes they appear before. So what's the true version of the character? It's tough to say, so I did my best. Sorry, comic book guys, if I get it wrong somewhere. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I would actually be interested to know what you guys consider. Like, Magic is debatable, because I guess she used to be a different character, for example. But anyway. What do we got here? So we got OG Punisher with a classic comic book look. basically with a skull on it. But I will say, his face is sinister as hell. Is it weird? I'm gonna say, and I don't want to, maybe I'm saying this too early. What is the arms, bro? Those are massive arms. I feel like they really bulked up a lot of characters. We'll talk about this later when we get to Magneto. Dear Lord, will we talk about this later when we get to Magneto. I agree. I don't think the guy designs were the best. I get that you're trying to exaggerate the musculature for comic book purposes, but they're already there. You exaggerated the exaggeration. You know what I mean? This is crazy. This guy uses guns. I get that Punisher's like jacked, but like, I don't know. If his arms were like half the size, I would actually be kind of tempted because, like, you know, design's relatively cool. We get the over design again, you know what I mean? But it's not the worst on this one. The silhouette, I do like that it creates like a bulkier upper body silhouette. The gun's crazy. But I feel like the Punisher also is a bit more gritty. You know what I mean? I wish they had more like grit on this man. Like, he looks like a kitted out soldier, but also kind of a generic soldier look too. The thing is, the older one, and this is sometimes when the OGs win, is when Rivals goes maybe more polished but less original. You know what I mean? Like, this could be like any soldier dude, really. Like, really, if you get rid of like the skull thing, which I guess if you argue, if you get the skull here, he's such a generic superhero. But I'm actually gonna go with OG. Plus, OG is kind of classic. You know, I like it. It's a little, you know, again, it's a little strange for our times, a little campy, but I dig it. He looks hardcore. Would you mess with this man? I don't think so. This guy looks like he's ready to lose it all for this, with his buddy over here. I don't know what's going on here, but in the context of the Goblin, is that the Green Goblin or is that just a minion? I don't know. I like most of it, besides the massive, yeah. What won, by the way? I didn't see. But yeah. So overall, I'm going to go with OG. I like it. I like his intensity. I think this one's maybe a bit too generic. Oh, it's not horribly executed. It's decently executed. OG won. But I think, yeah, I like OG better. Even though this one does have a nice silhouette and such. Next. Ooh, this one is very interesting. I don't know how many people know what OG Psylock looks like. I was not expecting this. This one's tough for the opposite reasons of Scarlet Witch, I think, and that I really, really like them both, actually. I was expecting the, like, X-Men, like, style, Psylock. You got the wrong Psylock? Oh my god, is there a different one? Wait, maybe not, though. Well, they could be different people. Because eventually the characters do transform. So this is Psylock. Who dis? Did I get it wrong? Oh, this is Psylocke before Betty took over her body and put on the suit. I see. So this was a character that she possessed. So technically not the... This is why I say it's Merc, who's the OG. Okay, so this woman is possessed by Psylocke and then goes on to become Psylocke. So technically isn't the OG design. Okay, weird. Oh, she gets possessed. Oh, you know what? We're gonna count it. We're gonna count it. Because eventually she does become her. Right? But honestly, I do like people's insight on things like that, even if it's kind of weird. Show me the original, chat. Show me the original. Tell me. But if we're just comparing these, because this is what we got. It's tough. I like them both, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be so cutesy, to be honest. But the reasoning kind of makes sense now. That being said, oh, that's tough. Rivals looks like a Genshin character. It's true. But I will say I really do love in-game, and I guess maybe, I don't know if we're counting in-game here, but I love the, like, particle effects on their butterflies and stuff. I like them both, though. What did you guys go with? I didn't see. But I'm going to have to go with Rivals, I think. Rivals is cooler. I like the ninja look. I like the butterfly cloak thing, which is original. I didn't see that in any versions of her that I know of. I think they just came up with that. Next, this I did not expect. When I was like, okay, I know Mantis from the movies, in like MCU, like Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was expecting like kind of cute whatever, right? What the hell? Oh my god. When I was cruising and I got old OG Mantis, I was like, oh my god, how did we get here? Easy, I know. Holy. Now, at the risk of being a degenerate gooner, I'm gonna have to go with OG. I mean, this is an old character too, and she looking fine. Now, the thing is, if you like cute better, you're gonna vote Rivals, right? But if you, our dog, like me, no, I don't know. You're gonna vote the old one, and honestly, I like the old one. I think I was just pleasantly surprised by the old one because I don't know. I think it's like really good actually. Although, okay, maybe this is the the thirst to talking or something. But if you look at Rivals, she's cute. I dig it. It's sort of a cute first hot debate in a way. But if you really look into it, the detailing here, Marvel Rivals did tend to over-design, but here they don't do too bad of a job, actually. I like the belt, the root belt. I like what they did with the arm. Pretty cool, actually. The leaves on the leather as well. I like it a lot, actually. I'm gonna go with OG just because, maybe it's just because I was so surprised. I was like, holy crap, shit's intense. You know what I mean? But maybe that's biased. Maybe this isn't the best. If I'm gonna go raw design, this is more detailed and interesting, probably. But for something, the OG just has a presence beyond the sexuality of it. She just looks so intense. I don't know. I like it. I think this is too modern, though, isn't it? I think there's Psylocks before this. This is like what people contemporary know. I don't really know, though. You've read all this stuff, so. I think this is what people traditionally associate with her. I think there's... But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Cal's the expert. Let us know in the comments. It's the OG. Okay, if it's the OG, and we're just going, yeah, this kicks Rivals' ass. Now, although, arguably, Rivals has more detail, but we're not going just purely based on detail. We're going on vibes. If we're going on better design here, actually, maybe I just have to go with new Mantis, because I think it's got more going on. Although that's not necessarily fair to the older versions, because older versions weren't super complicated, but it's a good one, though. I'm very torn here, as you can tell. Next. Well. I have a bone to pick with you, sir. What the hell were they doing? Why don't... This is what I'm saying. Now, I get that, it's not like OG Magneto wasn't ripped. But what is this? Super bulky. Crazy. Now, to be fair, Magneto does have a presence. Traditionally known Magneto has a presence. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. Right? It's fine. Is there a version of Magneto that inspired this? I don't know. You also get the sort of, weird... questionably AI vibes on some of the designs. I don't want to say, because again, these aren't warped like those kinds of assets are, but I'm just not sure what's going on here. Not only is it over-designed, it's also under-designed. Does that make sense? It's not the worst. It's fine, but I was very disappointed by it. I'm like, this isn't my Magneto. You know what I mean? And then they make you pay for the OG skin, too. Screw you. Screw you, Rivals. I love you, but come on. The Trial of Magneto is not the OG. This is the OG, in which case... Oh. Easy. Let's just judge it based on this. Yeah. 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 Easy OG. Right? Rivals feels like someone else wearing Magneto's clothes. 100%. Okay, so I whiffed hard on that. This is the OG. I just thought because it was different, it was oh, this isn't, because there's a couple cases where the OG's weird. So I probably messed up a lot, but I'm a noob. Thank you for guiding me. But yeah, oh dude. OG Magneto, not even close. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For many reasons. If we're going to, like, actual design theory here, but yeah, if we're gonna go based on design, I like the color contrast is really cool. The helmet and the upper details are nice. More detailed than usual for a character as well, because you got these cool stuff here just to add a little bit more, so it doesn't feel like just the suit. Great character, great design, goated. Next, magic. Now, this was a hard one to dig up. If you got the OG, by all means. We're just judging based on this, because I saw a few different ones. It's really hard. Is this the correct OG version? Because I was sort of questioning it. But moving past that, if we're just looking at these two, I like OG. They're both good, though. Like, New Magic is a baddie. And I like this whole, like, punk, like, Viking Valkyrie vibe they're going on here. It's the correct version? Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. But the old version is sick. Not only do you got that classic X-Men suit, but also the, like, crazy metal arm situation, the flame sword, plasma sword, whatever's going on here. Eldritch energy sword. Very sick. I like her intensity, too. They did a good job with the new one, though. She gives me more of like a ex-Asgardian vibe. I'll be honest, I don't really know magic, but based on the images, I like the intensity. Yeah, me too. Like, again, we're trying not to consider poses, we're trying to look more at the design, but I dig the OG myself. I think it's some... now I get thoughts that makes Colossus overprotective over... yeah, maybe she's half Colossus, chat. Very cool, though. Very cool. So I'm going to go with OG again. So to reiterate, classic versions, lots of cool stuff. Not just nostalgia though, but I just like the aesthetic better. If we're going to get really into design theory, you could argue one isn't necessarily better than the other. There's more contrast in the older ones with the black and the yellow, which might be some of the appeal, and the metal arm as well. There's like iconic things going on. Where if you look over at the other one, there is some, like, design language there. I do like the look. You know, they got the cool spiky stuff. You got, like, the leggings and things like that. So it's, you know, it's fine. It's actually pretty cool. If you look at it in the Marvel Rivals cast, I think I like her design as one of the better ones. But it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat this OG here. Next. Loki. You'd love to see it, Chad. I found the funniest picture, too. Now, there's a couple early versions of Loki, so please let me know if I whiffed. But from what I noticed, the main difference was basically if the top part is, like, yellow or green, depending. But, or the Marvel Rivals version. Here's the thing. If we were going with MCU Loki, I probably would have picked MCU Loki. Not just for the Hiddle bias, but also... I just like some of his looks better. They're both solid, but I don't love either, to be honest. I know OG Loki's classic, but there's something about scaled spandex shorts that I can't get down with. I'm gonna have to go with I think Rivals version, actually. But if we're gonna dig a little deeper, I do like... I feel like it's over-designed again, to some extent. Because not only do you have this, you have a bunch of lines here, maybe just to create fabric and stuff like that. But there's just like... And I guess that's the sketchy style I guess they're going for or whatever. I think overall, I like the look. I like the cape. I like some of the details here. So like the overall look is nice. But if you start to look too much, it's like, what is going on here? So this coat has like an extra... bit. Oh, I guess this is this bit. This is the top bit. It's kind of confusing. You know what I mean? And it's like, why did you make these decisions? You know what I mean? Which makes it a bit questionable. Because usually when you run into these I don't want to really bring up the Spectre in the room here, but you know, sometimes it makes you think that. Because it's just like, what is going on here? And why is this happening? You know what I mean? Honestly, because of the details being so freaking weird, I'm actually gonna have to, well, like overall, generically, if we take a step back, I like this better. I'm gonna have to go with OG just because, like, what is going on? It's sloppy, man. Sloppy stuff. Upon further inspection, I'm changing my mind. We're going with OG because, what the heck? And you know, the OG is, you know, it's very silly, but it has a presence. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It almost has like a jester kind of like look with the top piece, which makes sense because he's like the god of mischief and such, right? So I think that's probably where they were going there too. So we're going to OG Loki, mostly because the new one kind of fumbled, to be honest. If you really examine it. Now here's an interesting one. Rivals Hawkeye versus OG Hawkeye. Now again, if I whiffed on any of the originals, let me know. Because I was having a bit of a hard time on which one. But if we're looking at what we got right here, let's dig into it. I love how like 70s like flared out Hawkeye is. Love that. The OG. I kind of like the new one, but let's inspect. Let's go deeper. So I like the cloak that they added here. I think that's super cool. I like the purple armor over the dark, like military gear. You're killing me, Marvel. What is this? What are you? What purpose is this? And then the belt. It's like if you had a belt and then you over-designed the belt on top of it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what's going on here? You know? But overall, I do like that they added this. I do like some of the detailing. I think they could have dialed it back. This is fine, but again, there's just so many layers. And I guess they like that. The idea, to me, like, as an artist, it's like you want to have areas of detail and areas where you can rest. But here, it's just, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? I think overall the ideas that they're presenting here of like the gauntlet and the look and stuff is cool, and I probably personally adhere to more. As a design, it's tough to say. I don't exactly love the old one. I think it's super goofy, right? And it doesn't really hold up very well, I don't think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not the worst either, really. I think if you tucked in those flares on the feet here, maybe it would be a bit better. I do like kind of the strip going on here. It's pretty detailed for an OG version of a hero. I tend to leave, my personal preference is I like the coolness of the new one. As a design, I probably like the old one a bit better. Especially if you take time period into account, I feel like OG is probably better. We're tied, interesting. You know, it looks like a generic archer. He could have been in other games without anybody noticing. That's true. That is one thing I've really noticed about OG to Rivals. And it's really interesting seeing this, and maybe I could take this in as an artist myself, right? Which is like, they're iconic for a reason. And you can kind of tell, like, while they're very bold, like this character stands out. You see this guy, you'll remember that. You know what I mean? You're like, he's wacky, but like, you'd remember. This new guy is like kind of like cyber soldier archer guy, right? And now Rivals does have a theme of like kind of going with the Overwatch sort of like sci-fi pop, I guess is how I describe it, or like cyber pop actually. New term, chap, where it's like optimistic futurism, I guess you could say. Which I kind of hate personally, actually. Because I think it has no soul nowadays, but back in my day. But no, that's a good point. I think the new one's cool though. I like what they were doing, but yeah, OG's stronger design. Now, I'm kind of noodling about it a bit, but I'd go with the Rivals. It is kind of generic, but I'm not sure about the OG. Yeah, it's a little goofy, right? I'm gonna go with the old school Hawkeye because I think it stands out. You're right, even though I do like what they added to the new one. Next. Now, is this the original Black Widow? I think it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. Again, chat. because what I found very interesting was it looked way different. It is, okay. It looked way different than like MCU, what we traditionally associate with Black Widow. Whoa. That threw me off. But let me just say, I don't think I can evaluate this objectively, simply because I hate the OG hairstyle so much. And the new one is a redhead, so I'm insanely biased. So let me just put my cards on the table. As designs, though, I do like the netting. I found some better images that worked, but didn't really show the whole design, like different poses and stuff that looked nice. I feel like with a different hairstyle, maybe, or just different execution, maybe, I think it could look really nice. But it's not the worst, honestly. It's all right. It's a very different character, though. But I mean, redhead Black Widow, you know what I mean? If I'm trying to evaluate these unbiasedly, it's almost impossible because, you know, I'm so deeply biased. But it's an okay design. It's cool. I like they got little things on the hands, you know. Bit generic. I don't think there's something that really stands out, if you're going to argue, because there are other characters, I assume, with like fishnet and stuff, with this sort of like attire, right? So not as iconic as like a Thor or Wolverine or something like that. It's all right. Maybe this was very racy for the time, chat. But let's look at the Marvel Rivals version here. Let's examine a little bit. So they went a little different. They went like the side cut thing, which I'm not really sure why they did it, but it's fine. Got the same over design problems again, but that's just par for the course. But overall, I do really like what they did with the character, actually. I think she looks cool. Got the assassin vibes down. I like the silhouette. They're going for like the sexy look, right? I like how the contour of the lines and stuff accentuate the body shape. I like how they use the red to kind of guide you through. There's some really cool stuff here. So I'm gonna have to go with the Rivals version because I'm insanely biased. If I'm trying to like look at it objectively, I think I can go with the Rivals version again. It does have the over design, but I'm not getting anything that really pops out or makes the original Black Widow really grip me. Even though it's a decent design, again, like, it's tough though. The older ones are simpler, but I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Wait, it is a wig on the first. Really interesting. Well, I guess part of the costume, perhaps. Wolf, and I'm gonna keep this in the edit, okay? Sexy characters, appreciating sexy characters. There is literally nothing wrong with that. It's when you go too far and you get weird with it. You know what I mean? People have been expressing spicy characters since the dawn of time. You know what I mean? Of like spicy art. You look at the Renaissance. You know what I mean? Half the ladies are naked. It's when you get really weird with it and unnecessary where things get strange. At least, you know, this is my opinion. And also it's how you treat the characters, how you talk about the characters. I think those things are also important. But as for appreciating an element of design, which is like the sensuality of a character and what you're trying to like how you're executing that goal, you know what I mean? It's interesting when you look at things from an artist because it kind of varies. This is kind of a rant, but maybe people appreciate it. If you're an artist for a while and you do life drawing, you've seen endless amounts of people naked. So you sort of get desensitized to like nudity to some extent. And so like if you're like a mature professional artist, like powerful, sexual, like these different themes, you know what I mean? Like aggressive, you know, cutesy or whatever. These are all just design goals. You know what I mean? These are like themes to explore as a character and have fun with. It's not like, you know, whatever. The connotations aren't as there when you're like, I think you look at it maturely, you know, where you can appreciate something for being appealing aesthetically without, again, being a freaking weirdo, you know? because I know there is sometimes this demonization of like appreciating a character's sensuality or, you know, aesthetic appeal, but I think that's just super weird. You can go both directions with the weirdness, to be honest. And that's my TED Talk. But now that we're going back to the actual conversation here, it's mainly old art style versus new art style. I think so too. You know, I think back in the day this would probably hit hard, but not right now, I think. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Marvel Rivals version. Next, this is gonna be an interesting one. New versus old Captain America. It is legally mandated every time you say America, you have to caw. This is interesting. So I do like the new one. I think with Captain America exaggerating the musculature and the upper half, especially because, you know, they did it with the bottom half too, it doesn't look as weird as with some of the other characters. Maybe it's the posing or whatever, maybe it's the execution of this particular design. I do like the new Captain America. I think it looks good. It's classic, but it kind of modernizes it, gives him the armor, you know what I mean? Makes him look more realistic combat-y than like the cloth. So I think it's a decent execution of him. Stars to strives for freedom. Hell yeah, brother. What is wrong with his chest in the new one? Oh, like the shape. Turn them around. We need to see which one's Captain America's booty. That's true. We need to look at the booty. Very important. Yeah, that's true. We need to look at the booty to really do a full evaluation. We'll have to go in Marvel Rivals, turn them around, and let's see. Should we do that? One sec. This is important. This is important for the discourse, I promise. That's true. He kind of just looks like Iron Man, now that I think about it, with America paint. A little bit, right? But that is sort of the modern design. Dude, I didn't even look at it that way. Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm leaning towards original for a couple of reasons. I think the brighter reds are really nice, contrasting with the blue, right? This is the darker red and kind of the toned down blues and stuff. And I get that there's like, you contrast here, you want to focus up here, right? Like clearly your focus is drawn here, and there's like a whole design language going on. This like, bam, you know what I mean? That bright red is nice. They got the shield in here, which is a little unfair maybe, but sick. I don't really understand Captain America with the Iron Man energy glove, actually, which in hindsight kind of takes it back for me. Like, what are they doing there? I guess this is maybe a magnetic sort of thing where the shield sticks on, perhaps. Maybe that makes more sense. I don't know. Probably. But I like OG. Maybe it's nostalgia bias for trying to go based on design. This is fine, right? But this, I think, what I'm really learning is color theory makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? Like, if this is just cloth, sure. But this really pops because of these colors. I like the America band here. You know what I mean? I guess they add it here. It gets kind of lost in it. I think it's a decent version of him. But OG is just so hashtag iconic. And I think it's iconic for a reason. Whatever it is. It's hard for me to explain. But I dig it. The Rob Liefeld Captain America. All right. Oh my god. That guy goes to the gym and lifts with just his pectoral. Like, the bars are resting on the pecs. That's crazy. That's crazy. This nose go? I don't know. This is like a Voldemort situation. That looks legit, though. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, so for definitive sake, yeah, OG's better. I like the color contrast more. And there's something about it. Maybe it's the texturing. Maybe it's because it's a little less cyber generic. I don't know. But pretty cool. And lastly, Iron Man. This is tough. Because I feel like analyzing this, and let me bring this back in maybe a bit more into focus here. I think new one's cooler. Old one's a little goofy, right? The thing is, though, And I think that a lot of thing with these OGs is maybe it's the color contrast. It's something about them that just stands out, right? I feel like the Mark II would be a lot better because the helmet's a bit different. I think if the helmet was a bit stronger, a little less weird, I feel like it would probably win personally. I like the rest of the outfit actually more, as weird as that sounds. Because Iron Man, it doesn't really look like a suit, does it? It's got like one pieces of it, but it actually really looks like cloth, right? There's a lot of issues with that. Although what's interesting is there is a Mark I. So technically, this isn't the original Iron Man. The original Iron Man is the super hulking gray one that he first builds. I kind of went with this one because I know I didn't do it with the other characters, but I feel like we're kind of comparing suit designs. This isn't really the same. Yeah, I don't know if it's like, I thought this comparison would be more interesting, you know what I mean? And kind of more relevant. If that makes sense. Yeah, old ones, it doesn't look like a suit, yeah. I mean, it's one of the characters that do fit in with the Ralph's aesthetic. That's just by their general design. That's true, and what they're trying to go for, right? If anything, they just tried to make everybody look like Iron Man. I think, that's tough. This is a tough one, because I would say the old one if the mask was better, but I think I'll have to go with the new version. Even though, if we take more of a peek, I like the color contrast. I actually like what they're doing with the suit here. I feel like to be a full Iron Man, I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make it metallic. They did do that in the Mark I, but in the Mark II, I'm not really sure. I think they should have maybe continued with that. So it's clearly not just an age thing. I think there is an older version that has a little more machine look. As for this one, you get the classic Marvel Rivals, like, what are you, way over-designed, like, holy crap. But if you kind of look at the broader aesthetic appeal, it does look cool, right? The lines do kind of help shape the contours of it. I'll go with Rivals Iron Man. Although, if I'm going to be picky here, if I'm going to, like, go out and just talk about completely irrelevant to this conversation, MCU Iron Man's probably the sickest, right? Like Iron Man 1, and maybe this is just nostalgia or bias, but I feel like that's the perfect middle ground between like this, because I don't like the new nano suit in the more modern ones, like the sleek, slender, almost suit feeling like nano suit. Don't like that. I like the OG bulky Iron Man, you know? I feel like there's a middle ground between tight. Like, I want to feel like it's like a clunky beast of a suit to some extent. Now, that's not objective. We're just talking raw design qualities. It's more of a personal insight, but I'm going to go with Rivals version. Even though I feel like, again, if we went Mark II Iron Man, I think it would have more merit. But now we need to figure out, and this is going to settle our Captain America debate. We're leaning on original for, like, iconic, but also there's, like, raw design reasons. You could pick the original as well. But does he have America's ass, Chad? If he's not caked out, let's see. No, that looks... There's a little bit there, but I don't think that's America's. I don't think that's American booty. He's muscular, sure, but I feel like, well, it's tough to say. From this direction, it's kind of flat, but from the side... I don't know, what do you think? That's what I'm saying. That's not America's booty. No, we're gonna go with the OG. Shame. Damn shame, chat.